Ed.
And I'm Barb.
And we're the Streeters. Welcome back to Stained Glass 101. This is the third week. This week we're going to be doing working with our pattern. We're also going to learn how to use what's called a grinder. And we're going to use what's called copper foil tape, Barbara. So we're going to be doing a lot of things this week.
Right, so you're going to be teaching how to tape your piece, tape your glass, cut your pattern, and
cut the glass for you, Patty.
Right, so then you're going to talk about the grinders?
Yeah, we're going to talk about the different grinders. We've been basically using one for quite a long time here in the studio, and honestly, I'm sorry to say I'm not familiar with its availability any longer, and I do have one that we're going to be using today that is by the manufacturer of the circle cutter that we had. So
Glass Star? I think we have a Glass Star cutter on our ARTyRv page on the website. Okay,
so we have a Glass Star grinder, and we're going to be using, it's actually their miniature one, which I guess is probably their least expensive, and so working with stained glass, we're always on a budget, so this may be the one for your arsenal.
Right, yeah. So I'm excited. Did I tell you how many subscribers we have?
How many subscribers do
234.
We have? Woo! All right. That's awesome. So 234 subscribers. Thank you guys very much for that. Our goal for this month is to reach 300. So we're very, very confident that we will with your help. So, down in the box, if you have any questions about the class, please feel free to ask them, and we'll be happy to get back to you and answer them just as quickly and promptly as we possibly can.
That's right. Questions, comments?
Yeah, you can give us a thumbs up if this is helping you out in any way. Learning how to use the grinder today and your copper foil tape. Hopefully some of you may be that far along and you need to, you have a couple questions. Hopefully we'll answer them without you even having to ask the question. So.
Yeah, I just wanted to let the students know to not be afraid to use your own pattern. If you have a little pattern at home, go ahead and use that. Just follow the instructions that Ed's giving you on the class.
Sure, because the pattern that we're using, of course, you can download it online and print it out into an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper. And then, of course, you remember last class, we cut that pattern out of paper and then we transferred it over to a manila folder, which was a lot heavier than the regular paper. And now we're using that to trace that pattern onto our glass. So we're looking forward to it. I think, Barb, we need to get in the studio. Let's get started.
Come on in.
Hey, hi everybody. Welcome back to class number 3 of our Stained Glass 101 class. We're really happy to have you here. Barbara just recently told me that we managed to make 234 subscriptions to our channel. That's awesome, guys. Thank you so much. So don't forget to go ahead and subscribe, and you'll be getting the first ones to get the notice when we have our new class, which will be next Monday night at 7 o'clock. So again, welcome back. We are getting ready to put our pattern onto our glass, and once we get that all straightened out, I know I'm not supposed to bang on the table because the camera bounces up and down. Anyway, I just want to let you know that I'm happy to have you here in the studio, and we're getting ready to transfer our pattern that we've cut out of the manila folder onto our bright red glass for our cardinal.
There you go.
Okay, so hi, welcome back. Like we talked last week, remember I wanted you to try and find a Sharpie paint pen, because when you're transferring your pattern over to your glass, you really need something that's gonna stay there throughout the entire process. Now, if you remember, I asked you we're gonna do 2 cardinals because we're gonna do another project, and it's gonna include the other cardinal. So you can see the paint pen does a great job on this. And now we're gonna get both of these cardinals out of one basically $12 piece of glass. So I don't want you to forget that every time you trace your pattern over, that's what we're looking for right there. And make sure you put the lid on this really tight. So now we're gonna take our glass cutter and we're gonna whittle this down just a little bit so that we don't have a whole lot of craziness going on. Now, as you can tell, this is our matted side. You can see it's not very shiny. This is our shiny side. This is where we're going to be cutting our glass. So actually, we're going to start, when we're cutting this glass, we want the wheel of our glass cutter to be right on the line, on the inside of that line, because the inside of that line is our pattern. And we're going to just cut both of these cuts. Remember now, this is our wing, okay? Now, let me tell you something. If I break this line here first, it's going to go right on through and just mess everything up. So we're going to take our grousing pliers, and we're going to come right down here, and we're going to make that break just like that. And then we're going to come right up here to the top. And again, remember, what's that? That's our weakest point. So now we've got one side of the wing cut. Now we're going to go back and we're going to start down here in the bottom. And we're going to stay just on the inside of that line for our wing, okay? We're going to take our grousing pliers and pull down and away. Again, here we go. What are we doing? Down and away to break the glass. Because the worst thing you want to do is pull down and shove that glass right back into that knuckle. And I promise you, you won't do it but a couple times. And then you'll say, you know what? Ed said down and away. Not down and stuck in my... So we're kind of making a crazy cut right there, y'all. Hang on. But we're going to whittle this down. Always whittle this stuff down, because if you're cutting this bird out and something screws up on it and it goes into this one, you just messed up twice. Not once, but twice. And that, my friends, is not any fun at all. So here we go. We're going to start with the cardinals on his little crown. And we're going to take our time, just like driving the car. And we're going to come right off. Boom. Just like driving a car around the curve. Come right off. Remember, don't lift up. So let's start right here at his beak. Boom. And we're going to go back down here to his tail. Okay. So now we're gonna start right here. Oh, that just ran just a little bit. Now we're going to run it up a little bit more. Now what I've done is I'm changing hands and I'm going up in here to the crown. You don't want to grab it right on the very point, because that becomes your weak point. Come a little bit of a ways down, kind of pull, and then you check. Make sure that runs in there, and then we can hear it, and we can pull that away. Like I said a couple weeks ago, patience and finesse are what cutting glass is about. So let's get this those of you that see this little score, this cut right here, this really sharp inside curve, I want you can tell me how we're gonna take that out. The first thing Ed's gonna do is I'm gonna eliminate a lot of it by going just outside of it and then sticking with the rest of my bird and going all the way down to his tail. So now that score is actually right here outside that curve, okay? And that is exactly where I wanted it. And again, we're gonna pull down and away, okay? You could cheat and grind that out. Cheating and grinding that out doesn't teach you how to cut glass. It teaches you how to use a grinder with a diamond wheel on it. Learn how to cut the glass, because the better you can cut glass, okay? And you can't get in a hurry with it, y'all. That's the bomb right there. When you can get that out without breaking that point off of the tip of his beak, send me a I got it down here in the lower bottom of the page. Send me an I got it. Just take your time, have some patience, and your skills will improve, I promise you. Okay, everybody, hi, welcome back to the Stained Glass Studio. We are here. This is, we're gonna learn how to use our grinder. As you can see, I've cut 2 cardinals out, which is what I've asked you to do if you choose to. Right now, I've got to add a little bit of water to the grinder, and you can hear it start up. And we're just gonna add a little tiny bit of water just until it starts gurgling. That's perfect. Now, keep in mind that your grinder head moves in a counterclockwise motion. So when you're using it, you need to come in to the grinding head from the right and move your glass to the left. And this is what you should hear. Okay. So, like I explained to you before, when you're breaking the glass, it breaks like this. Your grinding head will take and make that glass perfectly square. It also cleans the glass up so that we can do a lot of things, and one of them is going to be copper foil. So I'm going to dry this off and I want you to see it, but I'm going to go ahead and run these few pieces through the grinder so that we can. And I promise you, if you miss a spot, your copper foil won't stick really well. And I've got just a little quick anecdote for you about working in your garage in the wintertime with your copper foil. So we're going to grind these pieces of glass. And again, everybody, this makes sure that your copper foil tape adheres to the glass, because that's what holds it all together. So this grinder, again, and you can probably find one that's pretty reasonable. I think most of them are all around, even the inexpensive ones are probably around $100 with shipping. But take a look at it. This is a piece of equipment, if you take care of it, you won't ever have to buy it again. We have a couple of them that are here in the studio that we've been using for a long time. Again, I just don't know if they're still available, so I wasn't going to tell you about them. But this is the Glass Star Diamond Star. This is their mini, their small one. And this is really a nice little grinder for the home tool arsenal for stained glass. As promised, I'm going to show you about copper foil tape. So when you're copper foiling, and over the years Barb and I have found that if you have a lot to copper foil, it's good to sit on the couch, have all your glass clean, and just sit there and copper foil and listen to the TV, or you can watch it. But so let me introduce you to the tools that you need. We're going to need a FID, a foil caddy is what this is called. It holds 4 different size foils. And right now we're using a 7/32 blackback foil. Now the 7/32 foil is the most popular foil just because of its size. When you're soldering your copper foil project, you're going to be thankful that you used a good size but not too big, because the wider your foil is, the more solder you're going to be using. So I've cleaned my wing here on our Cardinal. I've got our foil in our caddy, and what I'm going to do so that I can look right in the middle of it, and I'll start it out. And I'll hold it and I'll run my fingers around it, pull a little bit, and I'm still keeping the glass right in the center of the copper foil. Now they make a lot of different tools that you can use to foil. They even make a foiler, which is really nice if you're working on a lamp and have several hundred pieces of glass to foil. So when you break your foil off, you let it go past your end by 1/4 of an inch and then fold it over. So then what I like to do is I like to just hold the glass in between my thumb and my index finger and run my other thumb and my index finger right around the edges, just like that, okay? So now what that does is it produces half of the foil on one side, 1/8 of an inch of foil here, and the other on this side. So now your FID is used to burnish the edges, and when you're burnishing in them, you're actually heating that glue up. And when you heat that glue up, you want to make sure that you foiled this exactly right. So then you're going to burnish this by taking your FID and burnishing the edges. Okay. So now we have that. So when it's completed, this is what it's going to look like. And then we also, once we get our bird itself completed, this is what it's going to look like. Thanks again for coming in this week. Don't forget to leave your comments at the bottom. Give us a thumbs up or subscribe, because we're looking forward to starting another class next Monday night at 7 o'clock.
Wow, Ed, you make that look so easy.
Oh, I'll tell you, it's a joy of fun for me, and you know that, of course, when we started making stained glass windows on our back porch on the river 36 years ago or thereabout, something like that. So.
Started with a small stained glass shop right on our back porch, right on the river.
Yep.
First year we were married.
Sure did, didn't we? That was fun, right?
It was.
So yeah, we've come a long way from our small stained glass shop on the river, and just wanted to thank everybody for tuning in this week. And I want to thank Barbara. We need to give her a round of applause. I want to thank Barbara for this beautiful new studio that we have here in our gallery. So
we've recently turned our gallery into a video studio because we are teaching classes now online, and we have a lot of people that are taking the classes, and we just want to get better and better, and we hope that you all are enjoying them. If you have any ideas for us, just leave them in the comments, and we'll be happy to
and here soon,
look at them.
Soon in the spring, we'll be taking Artie on a few art trips. So that should be really nice for us too. So
Yeah, as soon
anyway,
as the COVID calms down just a bit, we can start doing our art trips again.
yeah, it has to calm down just a little bit for us. So hey, I hope that you enjoyed this week's class. And if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask them down in the comment box. Just ask a question. If this helped you in what you're learning how to do with the stained glass, and you're at this point, and just a few little tips that I told you about will help you, I'm happy. That makes me feel good. Subscribe to our channel, please. Give us a thumbs up.
Tell your friends.
Oh, I told them I was going to tell you a secret about working in your garage.
Oh, you never told us.
I didn't. I'm going to tell you a secret about working in your garage with glass when it's cold outside. You know, when you touch the glass, you're trying to copper foil. It's clean. You touch the glass with your warm hands and your glass is cold. Guess what? It starts to sweat. Your copper foil won't stick. So, go into the house, get the pancake griddle, bring it out, put it on warm, lay all your glass on the griddle. Once your glass reaches around that warm temperature, which is about 100 degrees, when you touch it and pick it up with your hands, it won't sweat because the temperature variance is equal rather than greater than.
Right, and just a little tip. My tip is let your wife know that that's where the pancake griddle is, and that she'll need to that you're going to buy her a new one because now you're using hers
For stained glass.
Stained glass. I'm
Yeah.
sure she'll appreciate that.
Our pancake griddle is in the RV. And we don't use it for stained glass anymore. But that will help you, get out in the garage, just kind of get away and get it engulfed in your stained glass project, and that'll help you, it'll keep you from getting frustrated, because as soon as you pick up that piece of glass with your warm hand, if that glass isn't warm, it's going to sweat, and then your foil will not stick. Thanks again for watching this week, guys. See you next time.
Bye-bye.